Hello, my friends. Connor Doobie here, host of the B2B Mentors podcast. Hope you're doing great out there. Do me this tiny favor. Don't forget, we are on all your favorite podcast apps. You can find us anywhere you like to listen on the go. If you want to check out past episodes, you can go find us there. Anywhere you search for B2B Mentors, make sure you subscribe for upcoming episodes. And please leave a 5-star review so others can find the show too. I'm working simultaneously here to get Ian the link over here so we can start streaming out. So I ping that over to you, brother, if you can hear me. And also, if your marketing team is struggling to find the time to meet all of your custom content needs, make sure you reach out to activeblogs.com. You can send me a message anywhere, activeblogs.com, and we can put together a custom content roadmap for you. With that, my friends, I'm going to bring up our guest today, which is going to be an absolute blast. Ian to the stage, who I think I lost. Oh, there we go. I was like, oh no, he disappeared. And he's gone again.
How you doing, my friend? Can you hear me?
Hey, brother. Were you able to get that link in time?
The link is gone. You got it.
Cool. We're live. What's up, guys? Come join in. If you have any questions or want to drop any comments, as we're just here chatting it up and sharing some insights, some value, letting you know how Ian's over here killing it in the industry, making some impact, making some friends, and helping a lot of people in the process. So I'm going to give you permission, my friend. I'm going to give you permission to please just brag about yourself for a few minutes. Let us know what's led you to where you're at in your career and in your life today.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me today. I've enjoyed the conversations we've had to date, and hopefully I can contribute something that is at least worthy of your podcast. So thank you. I kind of consider myself one of the luckiest people in business. I started at a very young age producing trade shows, special events, product releases, up in Toronto, Canada, with a company called Chairman Mills, which is still going strong. And it was really, made up of me being allowed to be in a lot of places that I had no business being in or speaking to or being beside. And that's really where my love for marketing and events kind of took off. Moved down to the United States around 97, real hardcore show production at that point. And then was blessed to get into healthcare from someone who had hired me years before, sent me a position with an organization called HIDA, the Health Industry Distributors Association, which really manages the distribution of medical products. So you can imagine the year they just went through. And from that point, one of our board members brought me over to where I am today, NDC, National Distribution and Contracting. Basically, we are a master distributor of medical products. So we bring in trailer and container loads of medical products, break them down into pallet architecture, get them out to over 1,500 medical product distributors. And if you think about the year we just went through, it was absolutely miraculous. Not only do we have warriors in our warehouses who really saved lives by getting the products and services out to America and Canada, Mexico, Puerto Rico, but also the people that we were able to help throughout the cause, whether it be internally, externally, dealing with the COVID crisis and everything like that. And some of the innovations right now, literally in our industry, I just came off another session where we were celebrating the innovations that COVID brought. And this time last year, there was really no hope of innovation. So we're at the tail end of this pandemic, and now we're starting to celebrate what people did. So it's been an unbelievable journey for me. And like I said, I knock on wood every time someone is willing to listen to what I say or have me be a part of their team.
Yeah, well, you're an interesting guy, and it shows how what I like is how sincere and passionate you are about, like, not just having this leadership marketing role, but you're truly passionate about what you do and provide
Yeah.
as a service, as a business, which I think is so important. And a lot of people may be missing in their marketing careers.
Yeah. Well, I've had the privilege of working alongside some amazing mentors. I describe the team that we have here in the NDC marketing department is that, they're 8 insanely talented individuals. And we're a $500 million company, international company, 6 warehouses throughout the United States and multiple companies. And these 8 insanely talented people do the marketing for all of them. So it's really a privilege to learn, to lead in some cases, but also to produce some of the events and the marketing that we do for our customers, our attendees, and anybody else that gets a kick out of it.
How'd you go about seeking mentorship in your life and actually taking advantage of key mentors in your life? You've mentioned that a couple times, and it sounds like that's something that's also been pretty important to you.
Yeah, very much so. I would say my first mentor was up in Toronto, and I didn't seek him out. He took me under his wing, and for whatever reason, maybe to keep me out of trouble. I don't know, but
Did it work?
Really, yeah, oh, absolutely. I'd be in jail a long time ago if it wasn't for him. He really installed in me. His name's Mike LaCour. He was the president of Chairman Mills at the time, and he really installed in me this theory of teamwork, and we're all on the same team. We have different roles to play in the team, but you treat every member of your team as an additive participant. So, whether we were on site, I remember being on site at the Papal Visit in Toronto back in early 90s, and there was a huge number of people assigned to just picking up the trash left over by the thousands, and he would make time to go and chat with them. And that really installed my, we're all a part of the team. We just have different roles on the team. So he took me under his wing. And then there was another gentleman, Toby Aaron, who was a phenomenal asset to my career down here in the United States. And he trusted me with a lot of things that I probably didn't have the experience, but maybe the passion that you speak of allowed me to participate in them. And then the gentleman I work for now, Jumpin' Jiminy, literally, who has this many mentors? Jerry LaDuca, Mike Rassiopi. These are leaders in healthcare that hold positions that, really don't need any time talking to me, but they all gave it. And that allowed me to also understand that giving your time as a mentor can be as valuable as getting mentored. So, and my current CEO, Mark Seitz, truly a gentleman, the driver behind our culture, which is awesome because when your culture is driven down from the top position within the organization, it's easy to manifest it throughout the different departments and teams and that, because it is supported from above, as opposed to some knucklehead like me coming in and, talking about we have a great time taking healthcare seriously. And if it's not supported, that could die quickly. But no, Mark Seitz is truly another mentor of mine that I learn and I listen and
what are some of the biggest habits and practices that you still implement on the day-to-day?
So saying thank you. So we just came off our annual meeting. We did a hybrid meeting. First meeting Gaylord Opryland had ever done in 16 months, 252 people live. And I'm always, from this dates back to Mike LaCour, I say thank you to not only, our sales contacts, but I go and I thank the people working the buffets in the morning. And I thank the people, the AV team, and those types of things, knowing that our success lies in their hands for whatever portion of the day they might be responsible for it. So saying thank you, and that's another big thing. Now that it clues in, all my mentors have all said thank you in one way or another. So that's a big thing.
I think gratitude's one of those super important things. It always reciprocates, and it presents literally a physical change in your body too by being grateful and saying thank you.
You see the reactions of these people. They're just coming out of COVID. They finally got, they're no longer furloughed. They're working again. They're providing for their families. And for someone who might be in a dress shirt or, has that star on their badge because they're the customer. But when you go up and thank them, not only do you see them smile, but there's a darn good chance they're going to go the extra mile for you too. So it's pretty awesome to have those types of responses. And then big lesson. And when I interview people for positions, they get really wigged out by this next word, and it's resiliency. When you bring an idea to a table or when you bring a solution to a problem, everyone is in love with their idea. Everyone is in love with their solution. It's perfect. Mm-hmm. Well, resiliency allows us to put that idea in the middle of the table and beat the hell out of it. And 9 times out of 10, we either, that's the best idea, or we've made that idea a great idea, or a great program or a great campaign. But
allowing people to bring ideas to the table, but also letting them know they need to have the resiliency for the pressure tests that are to come with the rest of the team.
Yeah. And their idea might be tweaked a little bit, or in some cases proven ineffective. Yeah. So resiliency, every day being resilient and loving what you do. I found a job. I found someone who will pay me to do what I love. So I no complaints on this end at all. If they need me to be resilient, happy to do it. Look, my last name's Fardy. You're not going to hurt my feelings, right?
Now you got Doobie and Fardy together in one room.
Right. So, it's nothing's personal. And we always say we will do whatever we can, but keep in mind NDC has to come first.
Yeah. I love it. That's so incredible, man. And by the way, you guys, I see you watching on this live. If you're enjoying this as much as I am, please drop some comments, share this out so others can get access to this information. I'm about to ask Ian on trade shows and events, because like me, I've done hundreds of events. What something we both kind of resonated on is that trade show and event life, which is just a whole beast in itself. And you've had a lot of robust experience, but you've also taken a lot of that and applied it into the success of what you guys are implementing and doing now. So what is it as a organizer or even as a attendee, whether virtually or actually, let's talk about both virtually and in person. What makes for a great, successful event in your mind?
Great question. And it has been the single hardest lesson that I've carried with me, but that I've also had to pass on to my team, is that the event or the campaign or the ad or the program, but it is not for you. It is not for me. It is not for anyone on the team. The event has to be created and cultivated for the customer, for the attendee, for, I wasn't a big fan of country music when I came to Nashville to work here, but I'll tell you what, our attendees expect it. So I've become a little bit of a country music follower, and I tap into even LinkedIn, Facebook, so what my customers are following to find trends and to find interests. And when you take those interests and put those into your event, put those into your show, that's really when the event really starts to take off and really gain some great feedback or net promoter scores and those types of things. If I was doing an event, which I've done early in my career, it would be littered with, sports speakers and, sporting events and entertainment events that wouldn't align with my customers. So understanding that what we do is for the enjoyment of our attendees. And then on the other side, understanding the objectives of the people funding, traditionally known as the exhibitors, understanding their objectives and working hard to deliver on that. So it's not, I had someone say to me the other day when I was back home on the weekend, they're like, I saw your LinkedIn posts, and what the heck do you do for a living? It looks like you just have fun. And I was like, well, I produce a medical trade show, but that's the sizzle you got to put around it. That is what they expect of me and NDC and our event is this high energy, high impact, off the wall, entertaining opportunity for them to conduct business in. So it's all cultivated around them, the customer, and that's hard for some event producers and meeting planners or marketers to understand.
Yeah. Or just marketers in general. It goes back to the theme we had talked on, which is marketing is not doing what you want, right? So what are some other ways that you and the rest of your team have actively and successfully applied that in what you practice?
Yeah. So, really it goes back to that listening skill, listening to understand and not listening to respond. So listening and taking what they're looking for, what they need, and whether it be an opportunity for them to be specific to a customer base and us providing either the virtual platform or the live environment for them to do that, or the actual marketing campaign that must take on the persona of our customer, not NDC. So if I'm marketing for adhesive bandage company ABC, I need to take on their persona in our advertising to their customers so that their message resonates not only on their corporate retail, but also on their wholesale B2B business as well, that messaging. And we've really worked hard, skills training, understanding the customer. Also our e-commerce, e-commerce is a huge element of what we do that, I would say in the last 16 months, e-commerce and digital marketing has progressed more than in the last 8 years. So the tech savviness of our customers has skyrocketed. The digital desires of our customers have skyrocketed. So working with our vendor partners to put together programs that align with the new appetite of our customers, which changed in 16 months. I still have a fax machine for some of our customers. But in the last 16 months, it's just taken off digital. So being that
I feel like
voice
having
of reality,
a fax machine with your customers would be fun, but I would take horrific advantage of it in like the silliest way possible.
Oh yeah, we have a handful of customers that still fax in orders.
Yeah,
and it's pretty amazing. But this whole transformation has been amazing. So being that voice of reality up and down the channel, down to our B customers, up to our B customers, and really sort of managing that gray space in between as to what they're consuming and what they're delivering and aligning those. So tremendous success. We launched a podcast, nowhere near as famous as yours. We launched a podcast this year and the numbers exploded because our podcast was much different. We're not selling. Here's the best medical pen.
Yeah.
We decided to do our podcast around, the mental health of a traveling salesman who is stuck at home, children's health, COVID innovations was certainly one of them, Biden's first 100 years. So we really didn't take on the sales, but we had a tremendous support from our customers.
Did you say Biden's first 100 years?
Days.
Kind of seems like, I think
Biden.
You said years.
It was like Biden.
I'm like, I think he's probably been around for that long.
First 100 days. So, we really kind of went off topic with a lot of these things, not necessarily hardcore sales. And it's been a huge success.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting how I don't have to sit here and promote our business and what we do. We're here to highlight information. And a lot of people miss out on that is how can I apply digital marketing? How am I going to, it's different than going to a trade show and shaking hands with a customer and they say, oh, what do you do? It's a different roundabout way, which is interesting. One of the top things I hear from other leaders in your space are my customers don't work like that, right? Like we don't need to do digital marketing. How have you convinced your leadership team that this is a must nowadays? How have you implemented it, and what are the results that you've seen out of implementing more digital in the last year?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We had 4 pretty darn successful digital marketing vehicles. But going back, I would say there wasn't much convincing. We have been really successful in shortening the time between our wins. So our wins have been frequent and often. And when you sell up and you have that capital built up, that what you've done, as crazy or as rational as it may seem, has been successful in the past, your leash gets a little longer. So, and again, the trust that our executive leadership has in the marketing department and in all the departments really resonates in our ability to be creative. So we did, it didn't take a lot. It was hey, here's what's going to happen in the next 6 months. You're going to see digital marketing in our incentive programs. You're going to see a podcast come out. You're going to see a living, breathing product catalog on site full of videos and AI opportunities and those types of things. And you're going to see a resource center for all of our customers because, we saw the media. You could find any answer to any question you wanted, and you could defend any side of any topic that was out there.
Right.
So we synthesized all of that information down to a resource center on our site that our customers could go to get qualified, accurate information on CDC, COVID, World Health Organization, the White House, all of those elements that were going around. We were able to kind of be the clearinghouse of factual information. So again, we won with, I'll say 3 of the 4, the podcast, the living catalog, and the resource center have all tremendously exploded.
Instead of just sharing other people's media sources, you guys are becoming the media source for your clients to go to.
Yeah. So, we have a extremely high number of visits every day to our member site. So we thought it was an opportunity for us to help them by corralling all of this information that they could then depend on. So, is it marketing? No, but are you becoming stickier with your customer? Absolutely.
And one thing you said the other day that really interested me is you guys aren't doing huge budget in like paid advertising so much. It sounds like even on the e-commerce side of things. So
yeah,
how are you organically, like what are you actually implementing that's working to reach new customers, not your existing customers, but new customers?
Well, it's really interesting for us. So at the peak of COVID, I think the number I heard was somewhere around 200 customers waiting to join NDC. And we had made this strategic call that because there was such, the ability to get product for a certain amount of time was strained, that we made the strategic choice to support those customers that had been with NDC for a while. So the whole new customer thing is really revving up now, and it's amazing. So, you look at the different social media platforms, and all of ours kind of have 3, different personalities based on what we're seeing our customers go to. So there will be some Facebook advertising that you will see. It might not say NDC. We're a very behind the scenes organization. We support our customers with product and services. So you will see us channeling our marketing through some of those social medias to address the end users in each of those markets. And we're seeing those numbers tick up now. On corporately for NDC, you'll see a lot of our information. We're only 3 years into social media. Before 2017, there was no social media for the organization.
All in-person events, trade shows.
all in person, all very, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, and then we started to see that there was an appetite for that. And they, the first convincing was that my LinkedIn would be the guinea pig. And if it didn't work, I was the throat to choke. But luckily we got some good followers and we're doing some good numbers. So now NDC, we're starting to transition all of our messaging over to the NDC page.
Yeah, I'm seeing a huge trend in CMOs and marketing heads who are using their personal brand as the kind of main point to the company. Are you actually going out and connecting with your customers yourself on LinkedIn and connecting with potential customers? And then I see, if you follow Ian, which you should, if you're listening to this, you do a lot of video content of yourself. Just, it doesn't have to, not fancy. I think people overthink it so much, but you're just doing it and having fun with it. And it seems to be working for you. And you're in a space that is highly, highly built with lots of professionals.
Yeah, no, you, hashtag all right. We just finished season 3. And it was really, how do we differentiate ourselves from all the other events that are out there? Or how do we make, this year was, how do we make Nashville seem safe and open and available and those types of things? And you're exactly right. We made the conscious decision to be organic, to be unscripted, to be feet on the street, and kind of that man reporting type of thing. So that, that was a big part of it. The branding, is I live what I love and I love what I live. And Ian's brand is in line with the messaging that we're kind of doing. So, and I just noticed I referred to myself in the third person, which is so cool. But yeah, so, and during the lockdown,
you're like the new Kanye West of medical supply.
I know this guy, Ian. My LinkedIn certainly is my corporate identity, but my Facebook during COVID is now as littered with customers and suppliers and partners and all of that, which I think is really good. I think there's this whole new empathy to the business world now, and you're able to show, a kid's game or, me down at the Redneck Riviera, partner of NDC's, pouring a beer for the first time in 16 months at a bar. That was our highest rated video this year. It was, here's what you can do. You can go out and get a beer. But people were just starving for that type of thing. So your brand and how your brand interacts with your corporate brand, I'm lucky. It's interchangeable for me, but a lot of CEOs, and I don't follow, I follow Coke, Pepsi, Nike, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell. The new CEO of Taco Bell is a brilliant gentleman. I follow them to see what their persona and what they're sharing, and really just trying to take lessons for free.
Yeah, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just model what's already working and what's successful. No matter how big of a company you are, you can apply it in. Yep. And what's interesting too is marketers, I often hear, are frustrated because they can't get their team to be social in the way that you are being social. But you started it, like you led the way for the rest of your company. So I'm curious to find out, in doing that, and then people actually starting to see the results of it, are you finding others on your team are now starting to more aggressively adopt using their own personal brands?
Yeah, no, great question. Because when we first started, it was, I need you to like, and I need you to share this post. And and it's just not in the nature of every individual. But success breeds success, and there's an old saying, a winning team's locker room is always the happiest place around. So when you see it working, more and more people are getting on the bus. And so, yes, absolutely, without a doubt, the corporate participation on people's LinkedIn and social media pages has certainly increased because of some of the successes we've had with it.
Because someone took ahead and led the way versus go share. What the hell are you guys doing? You're not even commenting on our content we're putting out there. It's like, shit, man, we spent so much time on this.
And I get so, I sit here and I'll look at a post and I'll be like, you took the time to like it. It's one more button to share it. One more button. Or
It'll
throw in a comment. Do something.
Yeah. That many more views on it, man.
Yeah. It's what they do and it supports it. And, I think the new statistic is, and it's probably changed here with so many people being online all the time, but it's like in 3 years, 87% of all content will be consumed via video.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about that, you want to be an early adopter. You want to make some early mistakes when you're not at that 87% number. So yeah, we were ahead of the curve a little bit in doing some of that, and right now we're on top of the wave instead of under the wave.
Yeah. Yeah, and mistakes are, you see major suits who are on Zoom calls on large mainstream media in t-shirts and shorts. And it's if there's one benefit that's come out of COVID is like the perfection perception of what you need to be when you're putting yourself out on social media. And that anyone listening to this opens up your opportunity so fucking much, so much.
Oh, yeah.
So much. So yeah.
It's okay now, we did one of our sessions, all of our education was recorded, but I did it from my living room with Jen Wiederstrom. She was the Biggest Loser trainer, on NBC television, and she was just phenomenal, but she was in her living room. I was in my living room, and it was one of our highest rated sessions just because we were now, everyone could assume that, prior to this, everyone would have been like, well, that's unprofessional. But now it was a comfortable setting for everybody to participate in. So yeah, you nailed it. It's really opened the door for new content, additional content, acceptable content.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the holy grail here in the next 12 months.
So before we wrap up here, I want to ask you, because you travel a lot, you're splitting time between 2 different states. How are you effectively managing your team when you're there, when you're not there, and just keeping everything fluid, congruent, effective, with how much traveling you're doing as a marketing head?
Yeah, no, look, we started this with me telling you I have an insanely talented team. We adopted agile marketing, so we have a lot of sprints. We do a call every morning to bring everyone up to speed, but that allows us to be a little more fast and flexible. So we don't have 8-month projects where there's a roadmap. We've really adopted agile marketing where we're sprinting to the finish in a limited amount of time. Which allows us to be not only up to date with the current information or technology, but also we're able to take on more in real time projects because of our short turnaround time. So, Natalie, Tracy, Andrew, Michael, the whole team down there are all, they all have green lights. They laughed because for the first 6 months, I never responded to a proof. And they were like, "That's it. What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, it's perfect." So now I respond, "Good to go," just so they know that I read it and I linked it and sort of covering their backsides. But no, they're incredible. They own projects that even when I report out to the executive team, I would need them to report out on the current state of the project because they're so intimate with it, and we trust them to deliver on it that. There's things they own that would fail if I had anything to do with it. So the travel, managing all of that has really been seamless. It's, we've all traveled a tremendous amount prior to COVID in this industry. It's a traveling salesman industry. And when you have a team that is committed and delivers, there's really no management required.
Makes life a little easier, huh?
Oh, does it ever? Does it ever?
I love it. Well, brother, I can't thank you enough for leading the way and being a beacon for other business development leaders on what they could and should be doing right now. And, you have to go follow Ian and just what he's doing with other top organizations. Study him, study what he's doing, take a peek at it, see how they're moving and shaking, subscribe to their newsletters, their blogs, and observe, because these are great things that you can model off of. With that, is there anything else that's actionable takeaway that you want to share real quick before we wrap up?
No, other than I think this whole caring for your team that has become so important during the last 16 months, I think that is something that is valuable, that was discovered. And I think this empathy inward to the team is something that needs to continue. So we've committed to it here, top down, and I would encourage everyone to just check in with everybody on their team. There's a lot going on in people's homes and people's lives and people's businesses. So that is something that we would like to see continue, and I think it will. Everything else, look, people study it in school. Empathy, I'm not sure of any course that really hones those skills. So really embrace that and make sure everyone on each of your teams is okay. Truth.
What's the best way for people to find you, follow you, get in contact with you?
Hey, YouTube, it's Can-Am14. You'll see all 3 seasons of #AllRight, Ian Fardy on LinkedIn. Twitter account. I just started Instagram, so please don't grade me on my Instagram. But
I got to go give you a follow on Instagram now.
If you Google Ian Fardy, there's only one of us. So you shouldn't have much trouble.
Cool, brother. Well, I appreciate you much. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Stick around for one quick minute here while we wrap up. And for the rest of you, wow. I mean, if you didn't get at least one takeaway from that, lots of golden nuggets. Make sure if you're watching this after the fact, please share this with others so that they can also receive some great value. Go subscribe on all your top favorite podcast apps for fast. Can't talk anymore. For past episodes and future episodes, leave a 5-star review so others can find the show too. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah.